What if everything you thought about the internet's origin was a carefully crafted story? While the world celebrates tech billionaires as digital pioneers, the real architects operated in classified military facilities during the Cold War. A covert network of scientists and strategists built something far more powerful than anyone imagined. The truth about who actually engineered the internet will completely reshape how you think about every device you touch. Why did military strategists design a free communication network? Let's cut through the mythology. The internet wasn't born in Silicon Valley garages. It emerged from ARPA, Advanced Research Projects Agency, established in 1958 after the Soviets launched Sputnik. America was losing the technology race, and panic drove massive investment into secret research programs. Here's where it gets interesting. Why would defense strategists pour billions into creating decentralized communication infrastructure? The official story was, maintain communications after nuclear attack. But high performers know surface explanations rarely tell the whole truth. These weren't just engineers solving technical problems. They were strategic architects building the most sophisticated information control system in human history. J.C.R. Licklider published his vision in 1963, the Intergalactic Computer Network memo. Sounds like science fiction, but it was the blueprint for everything you see today. He envisioned machines talking to each other, information flowing freely across vast distances. But here's the hidden layer. Whoever controlled that network's architecture would control global information flow for generations. October 29, 1969. UCLA became the first ARPANET node. Only 4 universities initially connected. Exclusive, classified, powerful. This wasn't about democratizing knowledge. This was about strategic dominance. Bob Taylor, who directed the project, came straight from Pentagon circles. Larry Roberts, the technical architect, operated with military precision and long-term vision. Think about the mindset required. These people weren't chasing quick wins or quarterly profits. They were playing a 50-year game while everyone else played checkers. That's the discipline of true high performance, seeing patterns others miss, building infrastructure that compounds over decades. When you understand the internet was designed by military strategists, every privacy policy you ignore takes on new meaning. Every data point you volunteer suddenly feeds systems built for surveillance, not liberation. How the decentralized design was actually centralized control. Now, we dig into the beautiful contradiction. The internet's architecture is decentralized, no single point of failure, theoretically impossible to shut down. This got sold as freedom technology, but high performers recognize strategic genius when they see it. What looks like chaos is often the most sophisticated form of control. Vint Cerf and Bob Kahn created TCP or IP, the protocols that make the internet function. But they weren't working in some idealistic startup. They operated under DARPA funding, within Pentagon-adjacent research environments. These weren't entrepreneurs seeking fame. They were strategic thinkers building global power infrastructure disguised as academic research. Here's the insight that changes everything. A decentralized network can't be easily destroyed, but it also can't be easily controlled. Unless you build backdoors into the foundational protocols. Unless you design the architecture itself to enable monitoring at scale. And that's exactly what happened. Not through conspiracy, but through strategic foresight. Look at the transition from ARPANET to modern internet. In 1983, they split the network. Military communications became MILNET. The civilian side became the foundation of today's internet. But separation doesn't mean disconnection. It means creating layers of perception. The best empires in history, Roman, Mongol, British, all understood this principle. Visible power creates resistance, but infrastructure power is eternal. Paul Baran, who developed packet switching theory, worked on nuclear war survival scenarios. His innovations made the internet resilient, but resilience for what purpose? To ensure no enemy could destroy American communication infrastructure. That same resilience now means no individual, no movement, no idea can truly be erased once it enters the network. Everything persists. Everything can be monitored. Everything feeds the machine. The researchers who built this understood something most people miss. Real power isn't about controlling what people do. It's about controlling the environment where they make decisions. When you design the infrastructure itself, you don't need obvious authority. The system does the work invisibly. What happens when surveillance technology gets called social media is talk about the greatest rebranding in history. Somewhere between the 1990s and today, surveillance infrastructure became connecting people. Tools designed for data collection became sharing your life. Systems built for behavioral analysis became personalized experiences. Tim Berners-Lee created the World Wide Web in 1989 at CERN. Suddenly, the internet had a friendly face. Universities connected. Businesses saw opportunity. The narrative shifted from military project to technological revolution. But was this transition organic, or was it the next phase of the original strategic plan? Think about infrastructure expansion. Who financed the massive build-out of fiber optic cables crossing oceans? Who determined which protocols everyone would adopt? Not idealistic entrepreneurs in garages. Massive corporations with government contracts. The same power structures that created ARPANET, now wearing corporate disguises. Here's where high-performance thinking separates you from the crowd. Obvious control triggers resistance, but control through dependency through infrastructure everyone needs, but nobody questions that's permanent power. The covert network of scientists who designed the internet understood this decades before anyone else. Edward Snowden's 2013 revelations shocked millions. Intelligence agencies monitoring everything? But why the surprise? If you understand the internet's military origins, mass surveillance isn't a bug, it's a feature. It's the logical continuation of the original project. The shock only exists if you believe the free internet mythology. Mark Zuckerberg didn't invent social connection online. He just made voluntary surveillance profitable and addictive. Every like trains algorithms. Every photo uploads facial recognition data. Every message builds psychological profiles. This isn't evolution, it's the completion of Licklider's vision from 1963. Machines understanding humans. Networks predicting behavior. Information flowing exactly where architects intended. The discipline required for true high performance means questioning comfortable narratives. It means being an archaeologist, not a tourist. It means recognizing that the tools promising freedom might be the most sophisticated chains ever designed. Architect, drop in the comments which tech company you think has the deepest ties to intelligence agencies. If this is opening your eyes to hidden power structures, smash that like button and subscribe. We're just getting started excavating the truth. How today's AI revolution follows the exact same playbook. Final layer, the one that connects everything. Artificial intelligence didn't emerge from nowhere. It's following the exact same pattern as the internet's creation: military research, strategic funding, gradual public rollout, narrative control. DARPA funded early AI research in the 1960s. Same agency, same strategic mindset. Projects like Strategic Computing Initiative in the 1980s poured money into machine learning, computer vision, autonomous systems. Why? Because whoever masters AI first gains the same advantage America gained by creating the internet. Notice the pattern? Secret military research, decades of development, gradual civilian adoption. Then suddenly, it's everywhere, and everyone acts surprised. But there's no surprise when you understand how power structures operate. They think in generations, not election cycles. Google's AI research? Funded partly through intelligence community connections. Facebook's algorithms? Built on behavioral psychology research originally developed for influence operations. Amazon's recommendation systems? Direct descendants of data mining techniques created for national security purposes. The technology serving you ads learned from technology designed to identify threats. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You're not using AI. AI is studying you. Every interaction trains models that become more precise at predicting and influencing human behavior. This isn't the information age anymore. This is the behavioral engineering age. And just like with the internet's origin, most people won't realize it until it's too late to change course. The original ARPA researchers were strategic thinkers who understood long-term infrastructure beats short-term control. They planted technological seeds knowing it would take 50 years to see the full tree. Now in 2025, we see that tree completely grown. Its roots run deep into Cold War military labs. Its branches reach into every pocket, every home, every decision you make. High performance means facing uncomfortable realities. It means understanding that mastery requires knowing the game's true rules, not the ones printed in the rulebook. The covert society that created the internet proved that real power comes from invisible infrastructure, strategic patience, and understanding human nature better than humans understand themselves. Pattern: comment what emerging technology you think is being developed right now in classified labs that will dominate the next 50 years. If this content is transforming how you see technology and power, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to wake up to reality. The excavation continues. This content presents historical analysis and reflections on the internet's origins based on publicly available information.